On a Thursday, it is 3 o'clock. This is Queen City News Plus Live, coming to you live from the Blue Room. I'm Derek Dellinger, alongside, what appears to be a packed house, as you can see today.
Oh, yeah.
We've got Austin McCollum, who's normally producing the show. He's actually in the anchor seat today while Morgan's out. We also have meteorologist Andrew Brightman, as well as director Kevin Pinto Rivera with some of the basically punching everything, just making sure we all stay
hitting the keys
straight and narrow. At least today. We do have a lot of stuff to get to today. In fact, there's a lot of news that has happened just within the past few hours. In fact, just within the past 2 hours, big story, at least for the 3 o'clock hour.
Breaking news.
Kristi Noem. She is out as Department of Homeland Security Secretary. It's not being called a firing, at least by the Trump administration, but effectively many people see it as such.
And then, so this is we just had a statement up from Truth Social from President Trump announcing that Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin, starting March 31st, is going to take over as the new Department of Homeland Security Secretary. Again, the word fired has not been used, but Kristi Noem is effectively out. Trump said that she is essentially being reassigned as a special envoy for the Shield of the Americas. That is a new security initiative, he calls it. He says he's going to announce that this weekend at an event in Florida.
And it's between other Latin American countries.
Yeah, but a lot has really led up to this event today.
Yes, it has been not necessarily a great week for Kristi Noem. In fact, she was facing tough questions from not only Democrats, but also Republicans as well for some of the actions that were happening in Minneapolis, also some of exactly what's been happening within the Department of Homeland Security as far as some of the policies and the initiatives that were set forward. Of note, Senator Tom Tillis of North Carolina did call on Noem to resign over a litany of questions that he did not necessarily have answered to his satisfaction. But there has also been talk in the past couple of days from President Trump himself, who was reportedly talking with both GOP senators and representatives, trying to get a sense of how not only Noem did, but how much damage might have been done from some of the hearings that took place earlier.
And the big thing came Tuesday, which we talked about here on Queen City News Plus Live. Obviously, Noem was asked a question about a $220 million taxpayer-funded, basically PR campaign that she greenlit that would help kind of boost her profile.
I think it was like John Kennedy of Louisiana.
And he asked her specifically, did the president know about this almost $250 million being spent on this? And she said, yes, he did. And he pressed her again, did he? And she said, yes.
And that ad blitz, basically for that $220 million, was basically, at least according to this Republican lawmaker, John Kennedy, he made a point of saying that it was basically a thing to make you look good. That's it. No more, no less.
And then Trump today told Reuters, I never knew anything about it.
Yeah.
So essentially, he's accusing one of his cabinet members of lying to Congress, which could be a federal crime.
Yes.
So a lot of this is led up, like you're saying, with Minneapolis. Her efforts with DHS have kind of been building to this.
Within the last hour, we should mention Kristi Noem as well as and made an appearance at a conference. She did not necessarily mention anything about the change in the news. But again, this is effective, as we mentioned, March 31st. Senator Markwayne Mullin of Oklahoma will be named the new Department of Homeland Security Secretary then. There's another big story happening today, and it is definitely closer to home. In fact, in York County, Silfab has been ordered by the state to shut down. The letter sent just before noon today, and this is over the chemical leaks. In fact, there was not only one chemical leak, the one earlier this week, but there was another one that happened this morning. The last one was, I believe, a potassium hydroxide. Yeah. This one was hydrofluoric acid that was apparently leaked out around 8:30 this morning. And
it caused this.
It caused an evacuation, or at least a school, Flint Hill Elementary, to be closed down, led to a bunch of parents, as you can see right there, going to a nearby school to basically pick up their kids.
And this school, if you ever look at it on the map, I think it's Fort Mill Elementary number 12. I mean, it is in extremely close proximity to the Silfab Solar plant. So again, a lot of parents scrambling this morning.
We're talking yards away.
Yeah, to go pick up their kids. I think we got a statement in from Silfab within the last hour saying they're voluntarily shutting down as opposed to waiting for the state to order them to temporarily shut down until they kind of go through the process to find out how these leaks are happening, how they can clean them up.
Well, and the state, what's interesting is that they're saying they're voluntarily shutting down, even though the state has ordered them to cease all operations. Yeah. That's basically what the letter said that we got ourselves a little bit earlier today. York County government, they also released a statement on this as well. They were initially there were actually a couple of statements. One was the initial disappointment of the fact that there was another leak at Silfab. but they also applauded the state's decision to basically cease operations at the plant, and they're basically saying that they want more and better communication from Silfab on incidents like this in the future before anything else happens.
Yeah, and two big things happening today. One, South Carolina state lawmakers, they are debating a bill that could potentially stop Silfab from operating. I know we've talked to several groups in that area around Fort Mill
shut them down.
That want to shut them down. And the other thing is, any minute now, the York County Council, they have a special, that is tomorrow, York County Council special meeting to discuss kind of the situation, get legal advice, and then I think there's the school district meeting.
Yeah, the school district meeting that is happening.
That's
now.
today.
And the school district basically was having a media conference regards to I guess some of the school evacuation procedures and things like that, just to make sure everything was on the straight and narrow. Yes, we've got Jen Cardone. She is covering that story today. We'll have that coming up on Queen City News at 4 right here on Queen City News Plus. Other big story today. Let's head across the world right now to Iran. But staying with Washington, the Washington angle on this as well, because the House is set to be voting on the War Powers Resolution, essentially saying that any military action in Iran would need congressional approval. You might remember the Senate, though, they basically said no to this, basically giving President Trump whatever power that he needed to launch any attacks on Iran. But the House could be a different story.
It's one of those things that remains to be seen. Yesterday's vote, almost strictly down party lines. I believe Kentucky Republican Senator Rand Paul voted for the War Powers Act. Democratic Senator John Fetterman voted against it. We'll see if that similar kind of play happens today in the House as they are set to vote. I know one other big thing today is Trump telling Axios in an exclusive interview that he wants to be involved in picking Iran's next supreme leader, kind of similar to what he is doing currently in Venezuela. He wants to have a hands-on approach to it. There are reports coming out that the son of the supreme leader who was killed over the weekend, he would be the likely successor to that seat, and Trump says that's unacceptable.
Yes. While that's happening, there are some shifting statements on the attack on Iran. You might remember President Trump said it would be, I believe, anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks as far as this operation lasting. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth saying at this point that it could take 8 weeks now, and there's also some shifting rationale on basically for the attacks. Also shifting suggestions as to whether or not there would actually be troops on the ground there as well.
White House, President Trump, Caroline Leavitt, press secretary, both saying they're not ruling out that possibility, but as for now, it kind of remains to be seen. Sticking to Washington today, dramatic video out of a Senate Armed Forces Subcommittee hearing. A North Carolina GOP candidate, protester, Green Party, excuse me, thank you, forcibly removed from that meeting.
Yes, his name is Brian McGinnis. He's a Marine veteran. And he was shouting quite loudly yesterday during this meeting about sending troops for Iran.
And we have sound of that.
Yes, let's go ahead and take a listen.
Israel is the reason for this war. America does not want to fight this war for Israel.
Let's go. Come on, let's go.
America does not want to send its sons and daughters to war for Israel. Your inability to name that shows your exemptness as leaders.
As you can see, Capitol Police were trying to remove him. U.S. Senator actually got in on the effort, too.
Montana Republican. Tim Sheehy, I think it's Sheehy, got involved as well. Yeah. One part of the clip that we don't show, it's kind of hard to see right here. His arm, he kind of, he's keeping himself from being removed. He sticks his arm in a door, his hand, it gets shut into the door. There is an audible pop, which we're not playing.
A loud cracking sound.
Yeah, loud cracking sound.
The published reports in this, which again we are not letting you listen to, but it is not immediately clear whether or not Mr. McGinnis actually broke his arm in that circumstance. But there was again that audible pop, and also a groan from people had heard it because it was very much so and we do not know his condition, at least in that circumstance right now. But again, Brian McGinnis, Green Party candidate for state Senate here in North Carolina. But that was him, but that veteran that was there at that hearing just a little bit earlier. Staying in Washington, too, we also have Pam Bondi. She has been subpoenaed to answer questions on the Epstein investigation. And this is, simply put, she's going to be answering more questions on the Epstein investigation because you might remember, I think it was like either last week or the week before, she was also in Washington trying to answer some questions in regards to the Epstein investigation, but they have more stuff that they want to know.
They're not over it. And this subpoena was proposed by South Carolina Republican Nancy Mace, a sexual assault survivor, very outspoken about that instance. And her and 4 other Republicans joined the Democrats to support that subpoena. It kind of comes a year after Bondi gave out those very controversial binders. I think that a lot of
that did not really have a lot of
didn't have
information
anything in them. She gave them to several very prominent right-wing online content creators. They proudly walked out of the White House holding up these binders. I think it said the Epstein files on there, and then there was nothing of substance in them.
Yes, and even those right-wing influencers said as much. And we know the hearing will have to do with the review and the release of documents. And this is also coming as there are more and more reports of things being taken off those federal government websites in regards to the Epstein files. Some documents have been deleted. And there have been some questions about that. Justice Department, by the way, has no comment so far on that subpoena. Let's get a check on your weather on this Thursday. It's been awfully pretty out
beautiful.
there. Despite some of the clouds you see out there, it is warm, it is nice, and it is just if you go out there, it's just
if you can call out sick today, maybe tomorrow. Oh, I'm coming down with something.
Yeah,
stay away from me.
Is meteorologist Andrew? Well, I'll put it to you this way: is it going to be even better looking tomorrow, Andrew?
I mean, it's going to be roughly the same, and it's actually very impressive just how consistent this weather that we're seeing across the Carolinas and how long it's really going to be sticking around. I mean, temperatures are going to be in the mid to upper 70s basically every single day here. The weekend, we're going to see days. Potentially tomorrow could be talking about a record high here across the Carolinas.
Nice.
So if you like warm weather, I still love the cold weather, but that's not actually obviously what we're getting here across the region. We are tracking some wet weather, some showers likely on the way once we get to your Sunday here, and that's going to be our next chance for a little wet weather across the region. Right now, Charlotte Live came in at 76 degrees. We got winds out of the south, a little bit of a breeze here, about 15 to 20 miles an hour right now. And as we get on over to Boone here, we're seeing a little bit of cloud cover up across the higher elevations here. But otherwise here, just beautiful weather across the region, just nothing to be concerned with. Pinpoint radar, still seeing some of those showers off to our west here as we get towards Kentucky. That's part of a cold front. That eventually will move in as we head into the weekend, but we still have a lot of southwesterly flow. That is the big story today. Temperature 79 Monroe, 79 Shaw, 79 Rockingham, 81 in Morganton right now, 73 degrees in Boone. So we've got a lot of warm weather currently across the Carolinas. Yeah, just an amazing day to really get outside and take in some of this weather that we're going to be seeing. Over the next few hours here, temperatures still staying very, very mild here across the Carolinas as we go throughout the rest of your Thursday here. And even as we head into the evening hours, temperatures still going to be staying right around the 70-degree mark. Now, Derek and Austin, I'll be talking more about that possible record that we could see on your Friday, and then what's on the way this weekend with some of those showers that I'm watching with my full pinpoint forecast.
I love to see it.
Yes, and those temperatures the way they are.
Beautiful.
I
have zero words for you, Andrew. Just nice job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So you might remember, I think it was like either last week or the week before, there was the Supreme Court decision that came down on the tariffs and basically saying that, well, hey, they struck them down, at least Trump's proposed tariffs. Well, you might remember President Trump also put in some more tariffs, put on some other tariffs. And it looks like that could also be going to court now, too. That story and more coming up next. This is Queen City News Plus Live. 3:15. This is Queen City News Plus Live as we take a live look out at Independence Boulevard on what is the camera appears to be just a little bit shaky, which basically tells us the wind's not really that bad out there right now. Traffic also seems to be moving smoothly, but of course, as we normally say out here, that's probably going to change in the next 30 minutes, at least out on Independence Boulevard. Yep. And it's already a mess right now on 85 because, you know, it's a day that ends with Y. We'll have a look at your forecast coming up in just a couple of minutes with Andrew. But first, some of the other stories we are following today. Savannah Guthrie, she, you might remember that she's the NBC Today Show anchor, and she has been out while her mother Nancy has been missing. Nancy Guthrie's missing persons case still making national headlines, still under investigation. But Savannah Guthrie did make an appearance off camera to 30 Rock today, to the NBC News studios to actually talk with staffers.
I will say, kind of surprising.
Yeah. Under the circumstances.
I mean, she's a consummate professional. She's been there for decades. Like you're saying, she was off camera today. Yeah. She reportedly thanked her colleagues and people she works with for being so supportive for the last 33 days, like you were saying. As really, we don't have any major updates about Nancy Guthrie's disappearance.
Yes.
last reported seen at her home outside Tucson, January 31st, reported missing the next day. Several weeks ago, we had these new videos and images put in, released by the FBI of someone at her front door. That was recovered from her doorbell camera. The other big update, the glove that was kind of seen as this first big piece of potential evidence. Yesterday, they announced that they did match the DNA on that glove to a restaurant worker from a nearby restaurant. They've ruled this person out as a suspect, and now they're saying the glove is no longer considered a piece of evidence.
Yes. Savannah Guthrie herself, she apparently told staffers at NBC News that she does plan to return to the Today Show at some point, but said that she is focused right now on her family. But as far as the answers, she's still looking for the answers. Everyone's still looking for the answers. That case is still under investigation. Still a lot of unanswered questions on what exactly has been going on with the case. But of course, those questions are also with the authorities as well, because they are still trying to figure it out for themselves.
Still a $1 million reward being offered by the Guthrie family for any information that would lead to Nancy's recovery, is the word they're using here. So
and then federal law enforcement, state and local law enforcement in Arizona, they've also been helping out with that, and they've been following lead after lead after lead as well on that, and they are still looking for more clues. Here a little bit more local. North Carolina is among around 24 states that are apparently joining in on a lawsuit trying to, for lack of better words, they're trying to undo the tariffs that were recently announced by the Trump administration. That was in response to a Supreme Court decision, which also knocked down some previous tariffs. So
dramatic ruling.
Yes.
That really kind of stoked the ire of the president.
Yes.
We even heard him, I think, make comments during his State of the Union with the Supreme Court justices sitting right in front of him. The day that it came out, I think it was a 6-3 ruling with several conservative judges siding with the more liberal justices. That provoked him online to, I believe,
the global tariff.
The global tariffs say that it was a disgraceful decision. This has really been kind of the linchpin of his second term, is applying these global tariffs, and from him saying that it's going to make America one of the richest countries in the world.
Yes, the lawsuit or the lawsuits, shall we say, to basically undo these tariffs, which could go to the Supreme Court. They are all coming from Democratic attorney generals in democratically led states, and they say Trump is essentially overstepping his power. They say the law President Trump is using to justify the tariffs as well, it should only be used in specific circumstances and not this specific circumstance which he is enacting it.
I wish Khalif was here. This would be a great legal question for our chief legal analyst. On top of that, just yesterday, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, thank you. Yes. He said those rates, the 10% tariffs, could likely go up to 15% by tomorrow.
Yeah.
Whether that happens remains to be seen.
That does remain to be seen as well. Here locally, there is
Let's talk barbecue.
Let's talk barbecue, and this is actually one of the biggest, one of the last big remaining barbecues, community barbecues that is actually in the Charlotte area. The Trinity United Methodist Church Barbecue. It is the 66th annual one, and it started just a little bit earlier today. Started at 11 a.m. Not exactly sure how much barbecue they have left, because honestly, if you don't realize it, whether you realize it or not, 5,500 pounds of barbecue can go by very, very, very quickly.
1,000 pounds of slaw, not to mention sides and dressings, all that fun stuff that you want with it.
Yeah, and this is actually one of the biggest events, and probably one of the only remaining ones since Mallard Creek decided to suspend theirs or to end theirs after decades in operation. But this basically goes to help their church missions down at the church, and basically, again, if you have a chance to go by Trinity UMC, please do so, because again, it's for a good cause. But also, if you haven't, if the big thing is just making sure that there's enough food left at this point.
Yeah, they say they're open until they run out. And actually, I want to bring in our director here. He's not expecting me to say this, Kevin Pinto.
Oh yes,
Kevin.
Oh yes.
You kind of jumped in and worked this festival.
Still one of my favorite
last year.
Still one of my favorite live shots.
Yeah,
still one of my favorite live shots.
I did. I accepted that role actually, because I did a pancake one a couple weeks after that. That was super fun. I was only supposed to be live for like a minute, and then apparently someone was doing an interview canceled, and so they had me up for 5 minutes instead.
And then you were mic'd up, and you were like in the middle of just doing everything.
Oh yeah, it was definitely impromptu. I offered to just do it as a joke, and then they started interviewing me, and I had no idea what was going on, but I made it work.
Could you imagine
And you
doing
were
that?
joking
Because they started.
I remember that.
They started prepping this, like Derek said, the 5,500 pounds of barbecue. They started this on Tuesday. Could you imagine doing that for 48 hours?
No, I'm good. I'm good. It was good enough for 5 minutes with people yelling me like different facts and asking me questions.
Yeah,
it was a lot. It was a little overwhelming.
Well, it doesn't surprise me because it's just like whenever I do my pot and pork roast, I usually leave it in the crock pot for like at least 24 hours. That thing is just coming apart.
Yeah, I gotta ask before we get to weather. What is your favorite?
Derek.
If you had to pick one barbecue to have the rest of your life, like one kind.
Oh, are you okay? Specific type of meat, or are we talking specific type of sauce, or are we talking specific type of restaurant?
Like I have my very specific one, and it's kind of all of that together. It is Short Sugars in Reidsville, North Carolina. It is a chopped barbecue sandwich with red slaw.
Oh,
there you go. You can mull it over here for a moment.
I will put it to you this way: I enjoyed Smithfield's before they closed down near Still Creek.
Yeah, that's good. All right, Andrew.
I was gonna say I love John G's over. Yeah, that's it. That's one of my favorite.
It's a good one.
Good.
Yeah,
I can check it out.
Yeah, I got to go back. Yeah. Anyway.
Yes, let's
take
talk
a little weather here.
Is it good barbecue weather?
We're all hungry again. Now we're all hungry again.
Is it getting hot outside or just the barbecue?
Yes, 75 degrees outside. And so big question today is how much of that is going to remain? And I have a feeling it's probably going to remain for a little bit, isn't it?
Well, do you have what the feeling with the lottery numbers are going to be, Derek? Because you're pretty accurate, my man.
Yeah. Well, I've been paying attention to the 7-day forecast.
Hey. He's always watching.
No, Derek's the man. So as we get to your forecast here, yeah, it's going to be incredible. It's not going to be going anywhere, sticking around here for the foreseeable future. 76 degrees right now. Winds out of the south about 15 to 20 miles an hour. So we got that little breeze. You roll down the window. You let the air come through your flow here. You know, I've got some product in mind, so my hair wouldn't move that much. But we got some beautiful weather here across the Carolinas. Up at Beach Mountain, though, you do notice a little bit more cloud cover here. We do have a little bit more cloud cover across the higher elevations. And this is also the first place we get to see what weather maybe tomorrow. Not seeing any of that right now on pinpoint radar. We zoom out here. We've got high pressure squarely in control across the southeastern portion of the United States. Switching over to water vapor, you can kind of just see this kind of big dome and all the moisture sort of moving around that warm icon, highlighting that ridge here across the southeast. And temperatures just, wow, it's almost 90 in Fort Myers, 81 in Birmingham, 79 Atlanta, 81 in Columbia. And we're probably going to get a couple of degrees warmer here on your Friday. We are still forecasting a record. 81 would make a little history here on our March 6th. Current record is 80 set back in 2022. And this doesn't look to end anytime soon. You know, guys, get hype. You know, you like rocking shorts, Derek and Austin?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be sticking around here for the foreseeable future. And the reason for it is we switching over to the jet stream, just kind of highlights the overall upper air pattern when we get up to about 30,000 feet, showing the driving factors of what's going on. There's a big ridge here. You notice kind of the yellow-orange colors indicating higher heights. They mean higher temperatures. And that ridge is just not going anywhere anytime soon, not breaking down. It is going to be staying toasty here across the region for the foreseeable future, right through the middle part, at least, of next week. Futurecast in motion here as we go throughout the next couple of days. We do have some chances for showers, not tonight or tomorrow really, but something to watch here. Futurecast, a little bit of cloud cover here on your Friday morning across the region. Generally should stay dry, trying to indicate some showers. A little skeptical of that. Clouds should break, temperatures crank up to around the 80, 81 degree mark as we go throughout the afternoon. Some possible showers and storms, though, up in the mountains. That's the one place I'm going to be watching. You still see Friday at 11 o'clock, those potential showers. Even into the overnight hours, we've got a stalling front that's trying to move into the Carolinas. That's going to be the catalyst for a little bit of potential wet weather. Saturday, watching those pop-up showers and storms across the mountains here. And then as we go into your Sunday, that's when the focus is really going to turn up for maybe some wet weather truly making its way into Charlotte here as we go throughout the afternoon into the evening hours on your Sunday. We still need whatever wet weather we can get. It is a bone dry. It's been a bone dry pattern here across the Carolinas. You still have those drought conditions, but the good news, at least for tonight, beautiful weather here. Temperatures in the middle 70s. You want to do a little backyard grilling? We're just talking about barbecue. How can you resist, right? Mostly clear skies, looking good. Temperatures down to 60 in Charlotte, 59 in Chirac, lower 50s across the mountains. A little trip around the Carolinas tomorrow. Sandhills looking beautiful here around the 80 degree mark as we get towards the upstate South Carolina. Still looking fabulous here. Sunshine, temperatures around the 80 degree mark. Charlotte, Concord, and Albemarle. Great weather. And also that's the case for Shelby and Gastonia. Mountain forecast, some showers and storms on the way for you. But your temperatures, they're staying warm in your pinpoint 7-day forecast. Don't forget, we do spring forward here one hour. We're losing
We're springing forward, you say.
Yeah.
80s.
Yes.
Look at that.
Yeah. It's going to feel like spring, and also we lose an hour. Just wanted to
Just really cap that off.
I can deal with that. I can deal with that.
Well.
Take it better with a sweet.
Yeah, more daylight would be nice. All right. Can you hear that? It's not the tease music. I wish I had a good
Yeah.
sound effect for this. The Hive, yes, he knew what I was doing before I even told him. The Hive is buzzing, folks. We're going to talk Hornets basketball, the insane numbers that they are putting up that's got Spectrum Center feeling like it hasn't felt in years. Buzzing there we go. You're watching Queen City News Plus Live. We'll be right back after this. All right, welcome back to Queen City News Plus Live. We were buzzing right before the break because we are talking the unbelievable run the Charlotte Hornets are on right now. Last night, Derek, they beat the brakes off the Boston Celtics 118-89.
Yes.
And right now, I mean, they are doing something that we haven't seen in really almost, I would say, a decade from this team. 6 straight wins by 15 points or more. We haven't seen that since 2017-2018 Golden State Warriors.
Yes, they take on Miami Heat coming up on Friday night, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Thing about it is that Miami's going to be putting up a good game against them, so it's bound to be rather interesting. That will do it for us here on Queen City News Plus Live.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.